Seemed like a good idea when I was thinking of doing this. Literally wet through to my underpants, probably far too much information.
Oh, I've done that before and melted it.
Let's just dry this off before we start to have a decent look at it. Love the Yorkshire weather.
Months and months of rain, everywhere is sodden. Hello everybody, hope you're well. It's a little bit wet today, but since we've had rain and rain and rain for months, what better time to introduce a new power system from Bluetti. And there it is, the AC240. And hopefully you've realised by now it's waterproof. After months of trying to get decent weather to do some filming, we finally have a day where it's chucking it down with rain, windy and foggy, perfect conditions to review this. Bluetti's completely new AC240. That is waterproof. And as we've had months and months of rain, everywhere is sodden. They don't want to get out the van. But this is a really interesting unit, not just that it's waterproof, but you can put expansion batteries on it, and you can buy two of these units, these head units, and join them together, which doubles the inverter as well. It's particularly interesting for VanLife because this socket here is 12 volts at 30 amps. So this could be a replacement for a power system or a full power system in a camper van. You've obviously got your AC outputs here, some USBs, but this here, linked to a fuse box in your camper van, would give you all the 12 volt power you need to run your lights, your fridge and everything else. It is expandable and it is waterproof. Obviously you can't take it scuba diving, but if you make a mistake and leave it outside, you're not going to damage it. And there's lots of videos out on YouTube of people hosing these down. And it actually has a drain plug here. So if it gets water in it, you can actually drain the water out. So I think that's the perfect unit for van life, or boats, or somewhere in the UK. Shall we go inside and have a closer look at it? What a day!
God, through. Seemed like a good idea when I was thinking of doing this. Oh dear. Love the Yorkshire weather. Oh, them two are not interested at all, look. You don't want to go out there, do you? No. Shall we have the eating on and a cup of coffee first? I'm going to dry myself off because I'm literally wet through to my underpants. Probably far too much information. I'm going to have a quick coffee and then we'll have a better look at it. Now if you've seen my videos before, in the back of my van, underneath the garage, underneath the bed, underneath the Whippets, there's an AC200 Max and two backup batteries, which is linked to my 12 volt lithium system in the van and 300 watts of solar on the roof, which is absolutely faultless. And I, although still have this in here, it's disconnected and I've got rid of the bottle and I'm all electric now. And to use it, I just use the app for the Bluetti app, and it's the same app for this new unit, and I just switch my AC on there, which comes through to this socket here, and oh, just like you do at home, you get the electric kettle out, fill it full of water, plug it in and off you go. So it's nice and simple. So that's switched on, kettle's on, and even though I have so much power, I still use a low wattage kettle, so that's 731 watts, and that'll boil that in a minute or so. And having that app, you can switch things on and off, and you can test the status of your batteries and how everything's running. You can switch your AC on and off, and all I've done is run a 13 amp extension lead to this plug bank here, which has its own switch on, USBs on it as well, and 3 sockets on. And I do, if I want to, if I've got lots of cooking appliances on, I have another extension lead that fits over there to that corner to another plug bank, and I can use this all as my cooking area. hot plates, pizza ovens, toasters, whatever I need. But it's just like being at home. It's so efficient and so easy, and you don't get all the condensation that you'll get with gas. Let's just dry this off before we start to have a decent look at it. As well as being waterproof. So if this is outside and you're outside your camper van, and you know you're probably wild camping, middle of nowhere, super safe, and it's outside and it starts to rain and you don't remember and it starts to get wet, this won't have a problem. That's the big advantage of this, particularly in the UK. You never know when it's going to rain, so keeping this outside isn't a particular problem. But also if you're on a yacht or a boat, this would be perfect to store inside, not just for water splashing on it, but the condensation that you get on lots of boats. I used to be a coxswain on a lifeboat, and the majority of things we went out to was poor electrics, so having this as a backup would be fantastic for that. But another main advantage is this socket here. Now this comes with a cable, and it's 12 volts at 30 amps. So you can run a cable from this to a standard fuse box, 12 volt fuse box, and run all your electrics in your camper van off this. So this unit would give you 240 volts at pure sound wave, and what that basically means is that the inverter, the unit inside that takes the 12 volts and converts it to mains power, 240 volts, does it in a way that's safe to use with sensitive equipment. And most of these are pure sound wave inverters now. There used to be an old-fashioned one that did a digital version which wasn't very good, but you don't get those on the Bluetti. These are pure sound wave. They're the new lithium phosphate batteries, so they're super strong and they last a long time. You can use it down to 80% and charge it back up again, probably for about 10 years every day. So it's going to last you a lifetime. Good warranty on them, and a proven product. Now some people will comment that it hasn't got this through charging on the top here for your phone, and I never use that. I think particularly one of this size, if you're using it in a camper van, it's going to be stored in your garage like my 200 Max, and you're going to use the remote app to do all the controls on it. It's got good handles on the side, so you can strap it down onto a wheel arch. And the adapter box with this, the other good advantage with this, is the adapter box that if you buy two of these units, if you buy two of the AC240s, you can link them together, and the adapter box fits is on here, and it doubles the capacity of the batteries and also doubles the inverter size as well, which would be fantastic. So if you was purposely building a camper van or a motorhome or even a yacht electric systems, this would be brilliant for it. So you still have your 12 volt cigarette socket, your standard one. The plug we've just been talking about, I'll show you the lead for that in a bit. And then you have 4 USBs, 2 USB-Cs at 100 watts and 2 USB-As at 18 watts. And then 4 sockets. And a good display. The display does everything you'd expect it to. It'll tell you how much power is going in, how much power is going out, how long it'll last running a particular item, and how much power you've got in. So you could have AC in or DC in from solar or from your mains powering. And the app allows you to change the charging functions to this as well, so it can charge super quick. And just to give you an example of running something, I've got my electric pizza oven in there, and if you haven't seen my videos before, we don't miss out on food when we go camping. These are fantastic. Oh, always remember to move the hot plate, the gloves out of it. Oh, I've done that before and melted it. Anyway, saved it this time. But there's my electric pizza oven that I nearly set on fire. And they're about 100 quid. You can get them all over the place, and they cook fantastic pizzas. And that runs at 1133 watts. Nearly did it again. That's the second time I've done that. There used to be 2 of them gloves, but there's only 1 now because I've toasted the other. But the display on there shows you how much power is going out, and it shows you the percentage it's used as part of the unit as well, and it'll tell you how long it's actually going to run it for. So that will cook a pizza. Once it gets up to temperature, it takes about 5 minutes to get up to temperature, and it'll cook a pizza in 5-6 minutes. And they're really nice, and so you don't have to scrimp and scrape when you're out camping, and you'll never get an indoor oven or an indoor oven, gas oven, or any gas appliance that'll cook pizzas as good as these do. And of course you can use the air fryers and everything else you use in your camper van. It's just so easy. I'm so pleased I took them out. Quite often is that I've got a MacBook or a MacBook Pro and I need to charge it from the mains from 240 volts. Well, you can get these 12 volt adapters, and if you look, it's using 14 watts, and that's running my MacBook Pro, no problem whatsoever. So if you use the 12 volt SARS, you can run that from any circuit that you have those traditional cigarette sockets on, but it also saves power on these units because this has got a DC battery in, so it takes the DC through an inverter and produces mains power, and then it goes through the charger you have for your MacBook back to your MacBook, which loses power as well. So it's a really inefficient way of charging laptops up. So if you can get one of these for your particular laptop, they do them for all the Apple ones, or use the USB side, use a lot less power and your battery power will last you a lot longer. As you can hear, it's still raining heavy out there. In the box you get 3 leads. You get a solar lead, and they all have these like aircraft clip-on connectors so they don't fall out, which is super good. I really like these. If you think of some of the old plug-in ones, they used to wobble loose if it was in the back of your camper van, and they wobble loose and fall out. These actually lock in. So the solar lead, the mains charging lead, obviously no charging brick, and the car charging lead. If you was to charge it by this, it would take a significant amount of time, but the opportunity of putting 12 volts into it is still there. What you don't get in the box is this 12 volt 30 amp one. It's different to these two. So it has positive pins on it that will fit into there. So you must have to buy that separately, unfortunately. I was hoping that one of these would fit and you'd be able to adapt it. So it looks like you have to buy that lead separately. Well, I think it's time to go back to the cottage, dry the wet gear off, and plug it into our off-grid system and see how it works there. Back at home, lit the fire, Whippets are drying off. Oh, they don't like the bad weather. Hey, shall we continue to have a look at this power supply? You do look funny with a wet head. It's currently charging at 851 watts from the mains, and it is completely silent. That is incredible. If you haven't seen this before, not that, that's a Whippet. We have this off-grid switch here. So this switches from mains to generator and off in the middle, and this goes through the main house fuse box. And it's always a good way, and we test all the big power supplies on this to see if the inverter can cope and it doesn't switch any of our fuses off when we transfer it across. So this goes to a plug, an extension lead, which runs to the other end of here, and I'll plug the power unit into this big plug here. So the plug's in, I've switched the AC on, nothing's coming out because I've flicked the transfer switch across. TV's on over there, don't know who that strange man is. We'll just flick the power off. So that's all the power off in the cottage, and then we'll switch it across to the generator. And we'll just check none of the fuses have clicked off. TV's come back on, and the power unit's running, and it's running at 2,511 watts because the electric arc is running. That proves that the power supply in this unit has got a good inverter because it can run everything in the cottage. It's running quite a lot at the moment because, as I say, the electric arc is on. General design, great. There's connectors on the side. This is for the link batteries. Nothing on the back, so it can fit against the wheel arch. And then your other connectors are on here. This is your DC input for charging. This is the bleed, so if it fills full of water you could actually bleed it out. It's got a link on here, and it does come with a screw to put an air spike into the ground if you're using it outside for extra safety. This is your AC input, And this is your parallels to link it to the other battery packs. There are these connectors. This is the mains connector, so you push it on, and as you push it on, it twists on and locks into place, and then to release it you have to turn this to get it off. You can alter the internal settings to charge, so this will now charge at a much higher rate, and you do that through the app. And obviously with this amount of power going in here, it will charge extremely quick. So you can have it on an eco mode, a standard one, and this is on turbo charge. So it'll charge super fast using the power from the mains. It probably won't go up to its full amount because it's almost full. But I'll put it down below the charging time on its full power. So there we have it, the AC240. Now I've got a decision to make. Do I keep this and possibly buy another one and a junction box, which will give me more power, more inverter, and sell the AC200 Max and the 2 backup batteries in my camper van and convert it to this? But those units in back of my camper van have been absolutely faultless, and there's more power than I ever need. So do I really need to do it? And I suppose if I did change it every time a new unit come out, I'd be changing it time and time again. And that system in there just works so well. Oh, I don't know, I'll probably leave as it is. So that just leaves me to say, check the description for more information, and also have a look at other reviews on YouTube, because there'll be some more more technical videos than I've done. I obviously highly recommend these. Love Bluetti gear. As I have it in my van, it's the unit of choice for me to keep in my van, so I have no problem recommending them. Do check the description below, because there may be discount offers. If I know the price by now, I'll put it here, and if I don't, just check the description, because there might be an early bird offering for these units as they come on the market, or there may be a discount code below. Thanks again for watching. Lots more videos to come, and we'll see you on the next one.